don't know, Kevin. I'm just having a hard time believing that God can use mortal humans to accomplish his divine will. From how I see it, right? Since he is all-powerful, wouldn't it be easier for him to just speak whatever he wanted done into existence? If God ever tried to use me, I'm pretty sure I would just mess something up.
I think he definitely can do whatever he wants done without the help of humans. But there's plenty of examples from the Bible and from history when God uses us to do what he wants done. Do you remember that one story from 1 Kings 18, 16 through 39, when God used Elijah? Ahab went out to meet Elijah. When he saw Elijah, he said to him, "Is that you, troubler of Israel?" "I have not made trouble for Israel," Elijah replied, "but you and your father's family have. You have abandoned the Lord's commands and followed the Baals. Summon the people from all over Israel and tell them to meet me on Mount Carmel. And bring with you the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Jezebel's table." So Ahab sent word throughout all Israel and assembled the prophets on Mount Carmel. Elijah went before the people and said to them, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, then follow him. But if Baal is God, then follow him." But the people said nothing. Elijah said to them, "I am the only one of the Lord's prophets left, but Baal has 450 prophets. Get 2 bowls for us. Let Baal's prophets choose one for themselves. Let them cut it up and place it on the wood, but not set fire to it. I will prepare the other bowl and place it on the wood, but not set fire to it. Then you will call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord. And the God who answers by fire, he is God." All the people said, "What you say is good." Elijah said, "Go and prepare the bowl for yourselves. Put the bowl on the altar, but do not set fire to it." So the people took the bowl given to them and prepared it. They placed it on the altar, and from morning until noon, they shouted, "Baal, answer us!" They cried out, but there was no response. No one answered. At noon, Elijah began to taunt them. "Shout louder," he said. "Surely he is a god. Perhaps he is deep in thought or busy or traveling. Maybe he's sleeping and needs to be awakened." So they shouted louder, and they slashed themselves with swords and with spears, as was their custom, until their blood flowed. Midday passed, and they continued their frantic prophesying, but there was no response. No one answered. No one paid attention. Then Elijah said to all the people, "Come here to me." And they came to him. Elijah repaired the altar of the Lord, which had been torn down. He took 12 stones, one for each of the tribes descended from Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, "Your name shall be Israel." With the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he dug a trench around it large enough to hold 2 shades of seed. Elijah then said to the people, "Fill 4 large jars with water. Pour it on the offering and on the wood." "Do it again," he said, and they did it again. "Do it the 3rd time," he ordered, and they did it the 3rd time. The water ran down around the altar and even filled the trench. Now when it was time for the evening sacrifice, the prophet Elijah stepped forward and prayed. "Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant and have done these things at your command. Answer me, Lord. Answer me so that these people may know that you are God and that you are turning their hearts back again." Then the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the stones, the soil, and even licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw this, they fell prostrate and they cried, "The Lord, He is God! The Lord, He is God!" Okay, I guess you got a pretty good point. Now that I think about it, there are lots of times throughout the Bible when God used people to accomplish what He wanted done. Do you think God can use people with a messy past? Because the way He used Elijah was pretty incredible and all, but he was a prophet. Do you think I could still be used by God with all the mistakes that I've made?
Remember that one story from Mark 5, 1 through 20, I think it was.
They went across the lake to the region of Gerasenes. When Jesus got out of the boat, a man who had been possessed by an impure spirit came from the tombs to meet him. This man lived among the tombs, and no one could bind him anymore, not even with a chain, for he had often been chained hand and foot, but he tore the chains apart, and he broke the irons from his feet. Night and day among the tombs, he would cry out and he would cut himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and he fell on his knees in front of him. He shouted at the top of his voice,
"What do you want with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? In God's name, don't torture me."
For Jesus had said to him, "Come out of this man, you impure spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?"
"My name is Legion," he replied, "for we are many."
And he begged Jesus again and again not to send them out of the area. A large herd of pigs was feeding on the nearby hillside. The demons begged Jesus,
"Send us among the pigs. Allow us to go into them."
Jesus gave them permission. The demons came out and went into the pigs. The herd, about 2,000 in number, rushed down the steep bank into the lake and were drowned. Those tending the pigs ran off and reported what had happened in the town and the countryside. And when the people came out to see it, they saw the man who had been possessed by the legion of demons sitting there, dressed and in his right mind, and they were afraid. The people began to plead with Jesus to leave their region. As Jesus was getting into the boat, the man who had been demon-possessed begged Jesus to go with him. Jesus didn't let him, but said, "Go home to your own people. Tell them how much the Lord has done for you and how He has had mercy on you." So the man went away and began to tell the Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him. And all the people were amazed. Wow. If anybody had the right to use the "I'm too sinful to be used by God" excuse, it was that guy. And yet, that didn't really seem to matter. All the people were still amazed simply because he shared what God had done for him. Exactly. God isn't looking for the person with the perfect past. He's just looking for somebody who's willing to be used by Him. We're called to share our stories, and then God uses those stories to work in the hearts of men. Those stories, those are what can change lives.